Welcome to AngloThai. After all these years of events and pop-ups, we finally opened the restaurant. Come and have a look.
My heritage is probably the main linchpin of the whole restaurant. We named the concept AngloThai based around the two sides of my heritage. So my father was born and brought up in Bangkok. My mother, born in Cornwall. So between the two of them, very different worlds, very different experiences as they grew up. As children, we got to experience both sides of our heritage with living in the UK, but traveling often to Thailand. So from day one, when I went and trained in Thailand and I learned about Thai cuisine and learned more about that side of my culture and my heritage, I knew I wanted to come back and open a restaurant in the UK, but I knew that I would also want to use the local produce available to me. Today, we're gonna showcase two dishes, the first of which is a British reared hogget, particularly of interest to this restaurant because the hogget comes from a small farm in Dorset called Ryle Farm. You've probably never heard of it before because the farm is owned and farmed by my wife Desiree's aunt and uncle. So we're the only restaurant in the country that actually has this product. What we are making today is a dry style stir-fry/curry called cua kling. So the first process is that we're gonna make a traditional style curry paste. This is called a cua kling in Thai. And to do that, we have an array of ingredients here. So for these dried chilies, the process would be that we just remove the top and take out the seeds. The seeds hold a lot of the spice. It can be overpowering, so I'm just removing the seeds. We are going to start pounding the curry paste. So we're gonna start with these chilies we've soaked, and then also black peppercorn is very typical of dishes from the south of Thailand. Peppercorn was actually the first way of getting spice into the food before the Portuguese brought the chili pepper to Thailand. So in the south, you see a lot of peppercorn being used still in the cooking. We'll always start with the hardier ingredients that have the least amount of water content. The reason for that is it enables you to get a smoother end result without things splashing back out of the pestle and mortar. Adding the lemongrass, the zest from the makrut lime, and galangal. Also going to put a bit of salt in at this stage. So we have turmeric. Just going to give it like a really nice color. Shallot and the garlic. The last ingredient we're going to add is shrimp paste or gapi. A shrimp paste made in Krabi, which is in southern Thailand, known as like the best area to source shrimp paste from. You can see in the shrimp paste it has like tiny little shrimp in it, and it has this more like pink color, and all the little black dots, that denotes how good the quality of the shrimp paste is. And this is one of the things that we actually source directly from Thailand. We think it has like the best flavor. That basically adds like a lot of the seasoning to this dish. This is our finished curry paste. Now we're gonna prep the hogget. So what we have here is sirloin of hogget. This comes off the back part here of the animal. It's quite lean, but it also has this nice fat cap. So I'm gonna just use a combination of like the fat and the lean meat. So it can be any cut you like. In this instance, we're just gonna mince this down. To go with this dish, we're gonna cut some seasonal vegetables. These are just gonna provide a little bit of respite as you're eating the mutton and the curry paste. It's quite spicy. This will bring some freshness to the dish. So we're just gonna cut them up to go through the stir fry. And then the last ingredient I'm gonna prep is this makrut lime leaves. So these are the leaves from the fruit that we were prepping earlier for the curry paste, but they're used all over for Thai cuisine. Sometimes just the whole leaf is bashed up and infused into things like soups and braises. But in this instance, we're gonna cut it very thin and we're gonna fold it through the finished stir fry. Typically, this dish is always cooked in a wok, so we're gonna follow the same traditions and we're gonna cook it here in the wok today. Medium heat, as medium as you can get on a wok burner. Tablespoon of fat, and then we're gonna go in with our hogget. And at the same time, we're gonna go in with some of the curry paste. We're basically wanting to cook the two together. The desired outcome of this curry is it's quite dry. We're just gonna add these fresh ingredients. So I've got some of the patty pan squash here, just a little bit of this, and then also some of the summer courgette as well. And then we're gonna season this dish with some of the honey. This isn't a sweet dish. It just needs a little bit of something to balance out the intensity of the curry paste. And from tasting it earlier, it's going to need a little splash of fish sauce as well. I'm going to finish it with the thinly sliced lemongrass, and then a pinch of the lime leaf as well. The residual heat of the wok will be enough to kind of wilt those down. So this is done, and now we're ready to serve. So here we have a stir fry of Royal Farm Hogget with summer vegetables and a turmeric curry paste. So it's like dry style curry, yet it's still quite succulent because of the meat, which is quite nice. And then it has this heat that keeps building. It's not initially very spicy, but what it is that is very characteristic of the South is the peppercorn dry spice, and that lingers on your palate. And then the other characteristic is quite aromatic from the lemongrass and the lime leaf, but yeah, delicious. The way that we marry the Eastern Thai flavors and ingredients with the British larder here to a predominantly Western audience, it's quite a challenge at times, and I think it's something that's kind of like grown with me organically over time. I know historically that I used to cook things more authentically, shall we say. If I knew a dish from Thailand and I knew it was face-meltingly spicy, I would cook it in that way. But actually, what I learned over time and what I learned from listening to feedback from guests was they enjoyed what we were trying to achieve by showing like the authentic side to the food, but what was probably the feedback is they couldn't taste the beautiful ingredients that we were using. Here in the UK, you know, we're prizing ourselves to work with some of the best produce in the country. It didn't feel right to kind of really follow that authentic route with the way that we were cooking here. And instead, over time, I think maybe some of the flavors have mellowed, but also in that I've learned to maybe accentuate other parts of the cuisine. The pork dish that we're going to cook today, it's a favorite of mine. We don't actually have it on the menu, but it is something that I've done in different pop-ups and different versions along the way. So with this recipe, we're going to cook a Blythburgh pork chop over the charcoal grill. We're going to smoke it with a coconut smoke mix that we make from leftover coconut pulp from making fresh coconut cream. Also, what we're going to do while we're grilling the pork chop is we're going to baste it in a marinade made from fresh coconut cream that also has white peppercorn, salt, coriander root, garlic, honey and fish sauce running through it. And that is going to be served with a herb and fruit salad that's dressed in a red chili Thai spicy dressing that is made of Thai chilies, coriander root, garlic, sea buckthorn juice and some fish sauce. So we have the prep pork chop here, we have our marinade. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start the pork chop off on this fat surface just to start rendering down, and then after that we're going to cover it in the marinade and just keep charring it so it builds up a nice like crust and caramelization. And then once that is cooked to the temperature that we want, we'll just let it rest out, and we're going to rest it on some fig leaves. This is the pulp that's left over from when you fresh press coconut cream, and then we just mix that with some finely sliced fig leaves to give like an aromatic smoke that we're going to finish the pork chop off as it rests on the fig leaf. See, it's got this really nice like billow of flavorful smoke coming up. So here we have the pork chop. It's been nicely caramelized on the grill. We've also like rested it on the fig leaf and smoked it over coconut. Next stage would be just to carve, and then we're going to assemble the rest of the dish. What we've got here is all our salad ingredients. Fresh coriander, mint here as well. This leaf is apple marigold, which has like a nice floral flavor. Nasturtium leaves that have a strong kind of like peppery flavor. Just gonna tear them in so they're quite natural. I'll just tear in some of the petals as well. And then we have some finely sliced shallot, lemongrass, green and red gooseberry. They both add like sourness. Here we have just some thinly shaved green apple, which again adds like sourness and freshness to the dish. We finish that with a little bit of finely sliced macroot lime leaf. And the idea here is that we want to dress this as if it's a salad. So I'm just going to tumble everything together so it's nicely dispersed. This is the dressing that we made earlier. I'm just adding enough in to kind of coat the salad without drowning it. I think that's good. What we'll do now is plate up. So for me, it's quite nice to show like the different parts of the same pork chop. So you've got like the leaner cut here, but then this bit's a bit more fatty. We're just going to dress each one with a bit more of the sea buckthorn. And then at this point, we're just taking out bits of the herb salad and putting it all over And this is very typical in Thailand, to be eating a salad that is basically predominantly herb-based. Has like nice like freshness and aromatic quality to it, rather than like your bog standard lettuces and cucumbers. This is something that you see quite commonly in the north of Thailand especially. We're just going to finish that off with a little bit of toasted hazelnuts or cob nuts. In Southeast Asia, this will probably be peanuts. And then a little final flourish of the thin cut makrut lime leaf. Here we have grilled Blythebird pork chop, cooked over charcoal, smoked over coconut and fig leaf, finished with a herb and sour fruit salad with a red chili dressing. Let's give it a taste. Really tender cooked pork. You get like the smokiness coming through, and then your palate gets wiped clean with all the freshness from the salad and the sour fruits and that chili dressing. Yep, I think it's a winning dish. It felt very obvious to me that I would always want to open something of my own. I had no idea how to do that. I had no money to do it. When I met Desiree, I kind of pushed this dream onto her, and she wasn't even in hospitality at the time. And since then, she's retrained also to study her WSETs and now is a Master of Wines. The question that we got asked time and time again was, what are you comparable to? And to that, we had to stick to our own integrity and say, we're trying to build something that is not comparable to something else. And you have to have a bit of faith and belief in us that we're trying to do something individual. And that's the reason why we think this will be a success in the marketplace. Even though it feels like a very long journey for Desiree and I, 10 years now plugging away, trying to get AngloThai off the ground, achieving the Michelin-star was more than a dream come true. We didn't even know if we would be on the map for that kind of thing. Opening the restaurant was the dream come true. The Michelin-star was just the icing on the cake. It was quite a surreal moment when that happened for us, but we don't take it for granted. We're very proud of it. The team work tirelessly to maintain that standard, if anything, to go further and further in the journey to getting better and better. And that's what we're just trying to do here, is just get better and better every single day.